Hi coders, CS Time channel here, and this time we will talk about encapsulation. This video will discuss about what is encapsulation, how to achieve encapsulation advantages, disadvantages, an example in Java programming. Encapsulation is a mechanism of wrapping the data, which is variables and methods, together as a single unit. In encapsulation, the variable of a class will be hidden from other classes and can be accessed only through the methods of their current class. Therefore, it is also known as data hiding. How to achieve encapsulation? First, you have to declare the variable of a class as private. Suppose you have a class named student here, and the student class has instance variable name like this. Then the instance variable here, we have to declare it as private. Next, you have to provide public setter method, or another name for this is mutator. Here is the method look like. The name of the method is setName and one formal variable here. Since the purpose of this is to set the value of the variable, then we can assign an m variable to the instance variable name here. Next, you have to provide getter methods. Another name for getter method is accessors, like this. Here is the method name getName. This method will allow the other class to access variable value. That is why here we need the return value, which is string. This is how we return it. Return and the variable that you want to return. Now let's see the main method. In the main method here, we have to create the object for the student. Here is how to create the object of the student. Now we will set the value of the name using setter method, which is here setName. So we call it using the object s1.setName, and then the value that you want to pass to the setter method. Once we have it, now to be able to access the value that we set, we can call the getter method or the accessor method like this. Here is the advantages of encapsulation. Encapsulation provides data protection because the fields of a class can be made read-only or write-only. A class can have total control over what is stored in its field, and a class can hide the way the data is stored. Another advantage is flexibility. The code which is encapsulated looks more cleaner and flexible and can be changed as per the needs by providing getter and setter methods, as I explained just now. This is also helps in debugging the code if needed. Another advantage is easier to maintain, as changes to data and action in a class can take place being apparent on the outside, as long as the data and action can still be accessed through the same way. Therefore, it is increased in usability. And the disadvantages of encapsulation are size of code. The length of the code increases drastically in the case of encapsulation, as we need to provide all the methods with the specifiers. Encapsulation also requires more instruction. As the size of the code increases, therefore you need to provide additional instruction for every method. Let's see the Java program using Eclipse. Suppose we have two classes like this, student class and outsider class. Student class is the class that has variable that we want to protect, and then the outsider class is the class that is trying to access or set the variable value belong to the student class. So the first step, according to what I explained just now, is to make the variable as private, like this. So we set the access specifier for name to private, which means cannot be accessed from outsider. However, for some reason, you want to let the outsider to access this without changing anything to this, then we will have to create the setter method. The setter method is a method to allow the outsider to set or to change the variable value belong to this class. So it will look like this. We have to make the access specifier public so that it's able to access from outside, and then we set the value of variable name belong to the student with the variable sent from the outsider. The next step is to provide getter method like this. This getter method is a method that allows outsider class to access the value of the name. Therefore, the method must have written value. In this case is string as per declaration. And then we have to return the value of the variable. By doing like this, we protect the name variable from being accessed by outsider class. However, we control the access or the changing of the value by providing setter and getter method. Therefore, the setter and getter method has to be declared as public. Now, the outsider will be able to access the variable name as well as to set the variable name. First, we have to create the object of the student here, like this. And now, we can call the setter if you want to set the value of the name. For example, we set the value for the name is James. So we send James to student class here. Once we set the value, now we can access the value itself by calling the getter method like this. Now let's see the result. So here is the result and let's see the logic. So by running this code, the outsider class tried to set the value for the name variable James here. Since the name declared as private, the original value of the name cannot be touched by outsider class. Therefore, there is a need for this student class to provide setName method. We call it as a setter method. So the outsider can only send this value to the setter method like this. Once it's done, we want to access, in this case we want to display it by accessing the getter method. So when we access the name value, we access it from this getter method. So here is the result. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe and like for more videos. Thanks for watching.